All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel here. Today we are going to be trying to smoke some beef back ribs. I've never done this before, and one of the reasons I do want to try it is because I'm going to be smoking this on a little bit of a higher temperature than I normally do. So I want to see how that Camp Chef XXL Pro performs on smoking at a little bit of a higher temperature. I think I'm going to be shooting for about 250 degrees with it, which should be perfect for these ribs. Normally, everything I've been smoking on there has been at a max of 225 degrees. So I just want to see how it's going to be able to perform with some beef back ribs. Now, I've never smoked any of these before, so I'm just going to have to roll with it and see how it goes. But the concept of it is going to be similar to just regular beef plate ribs, which are the DINO ribs. It's to get probe tender, but you're going to be really shooting for more so in the middle between the bones, because you're not going to have a whole lot of meat on top of the bones with these like you would with like baby back ribs. The meat more so is just in the center of these. This is pretty cost effective. This is 3.8 pounds. It costs $15.20. With football season being here, this might be a great party type of appetizer, something to just, have something to chew on a little bit here. But, they look delicious. I've seen pictures of these. They always look great. So, why not give it a shot? So we're going to, like I said, be running the smoker at about 250 degrees. We're going to be running post oak in there. And let's go ahead and get this popped open and get it seasoned. Just going to pat this dry a little bit here. All right, so obviously I watched a how-to video or two about this on YouTube. Specifically, I did see Meat Church's tutorial on how he smokes these type of ribs, and there really isn't much trimming to do. But one thing I will get rid of here is, like you can see, this is just kind of flapping out. That's probably just going to burn, so I'm going to take that off. But beyond that, there's not really much else to trim. So the skin on the back, unlike baby back ribs, we're going to keep this on because it should help keep these ribs together as opposed to having them fall apart. What is interesting and what I will be interested to see here is that this side doesn't seem to have any of that skin. So it seems like it's already been taken off one way or another. So I'm going to be interested to see what happens with that. Because normally this is kept on just to keep it all together. So, all we're going to do from here is just go ahead and season this up. And for seasoning, I'm using something that I just found at the store, which is some of this rescue rub. It's just an AP seasoning along with some salt, pepper, garlic. So let's go ahead and season it up. So I gave this seasoning a taste. It's got a little bit of spicy kick to it. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it. So I think it's going to go really well on these ribs, along with that salt, pepper, garlic, with those nice thick mesh pieces of pepper. But like I was thinking about this as I was taking it out of the fridge, like I think if you had like some Asian inspired spices and sauces added to this, I think these would be absolutely delicious. Now we are going to season the backs of these because most of the meat that we're going to be eating off of this is from in between as opposed to on top. So I want to make sure that you're able to get full coverage of the seasoning here. So obviously just looking at them right now, again, they're not the meatiest cut, but I think as kind of like an appetizer, or we'll see. We'll see when they come off the smoker. We'll see how heavy they might be. But just kind of initial glance at it, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of meat on them. So we'll see how these end up turning out. Now I'm always hesitant to use two different types of rubs, only because I don't want to over salt. So while I am going to put my own SPG on here as well, I'm probably going to go a little bit lighter because, again, there isn't that much meat on here in the first place. And I think I'm going to just hit this with some straight black pepper on it as well, just so that I can get that extra peppery taste. Now you can use a binder to help get the seasoning to stick. I'm not using any this time around. Just going to let it stick on its own. And then what I'm going to do is let this sit in the fridge for a little bit, just so that these seasonings kind of get together and stick to the meat itself. Help draw out some of that moisture, which will then get reincorporated back and get that seasoning within the meat. So the only other thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and pepper these a little bit just on the top. Let them sit in the fridge for probably until the smoker is just essentially ready to go. So I'm waiting for those chunks to light up in the smoker and start smoldering so that they get smoke out. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw this on. So it shouldn't be any more than like 15 to 20 minutes. So I'll see you back later. All right, y'all. So we've got the ribs out here, rested a little bit. Got that smoker running at 250. Smoke box definitely going. So we're gonna go ahead and get these put on, and we're gonna keep an eye on them. We're probably gonna let them just go for 3 hours straight and not do anything with them. But then we'll take a look after that point and see where we're at. So let's go ahead and slide these right on. Kind of going middle of the smoker here from top to bottom. That should be a good spot for them. So we're gonna go ahead and close this up and check back in on it in a few hours. All right, everyone. So we are at hour 3 here. Gonna take my first peek, and yeah, those are looking pretty good, I would say. You can see there we've got some bone pullback already. Meat's definitely kind of scrunched up, as you can see there. I'm gonna go ahead and probe this and just get an idea of where we're at with temperature. They're probing really nice already. They're at 188, about 173. Might have hit bone there, 185 and 177. So they could definitely use a little bit more tenderness there, but already looking really good. I thought that I'm going to be wrapping these potentially and kind of going through like a 3-2-1 method type of deal, but I think we're just going to go ahead and let them run as it is. Probably throw some mac and cheese on here so that we can have a little bit of a side, and then I'll wrap this up. But I think it only should take maybe another hour or so. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and just probe these so that I can monitor them from the phone, and then we'll be getting to eating. So see you back here soon. And so quick note with these two. So this, I haven't done anything with these other than just put them on the smoker and keep it shut, running at 250 for 3 hours. I haven't basted this. I haven't put any spritz on it. I haven't done anything with this. This is just putting it right on and letting it rock. So 3 hours, that's not bad so far to be getting these types of results. So I'm pretty happy. I mean, the color is amazing. I really am looking forward to trying these. So we'll get back to them here soon, hopefully. All right, so here is where we're at. The temperature probe was telling me 197, so I went ahead and came and took a look. And as you can see here, it's probing very easily, like butter. So I'm going to call that good. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off, and to rest it, I'm going to wrap it in aluminum foil and just let it sit on the counter. That way it's going to come down in temp a little bit. Look at that bone pullback. Very nice. Very nice color. It's super juicy, super moist. I didn't have to spritz this at all. No fat added, nothing. Color is great on it. It's looking absolutely amazing. But yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this in aluminum foil, let it sit on the counter so that it comes down in temp a little bit, has a chance to rest, and then we'll go ahead and slice into it. All right, also, these have been resting for about an hour to an hour and a half. I'm not really sure. I did lose track. So let's go ahead and open these up and see what they're looking like. All right, first things first, guys. I usually smoke something about once a week, and every single time I do it, this Camp Chef XXL just surprises me with how well it does things. I mean, the bark on this is amazing. The color's great. The smell is perfect. Exactly what you would expect an actual stick burner smoker to be putting out. This is absolutely amazing. I'm surprised and shocked. I can't wait to dig into this. Again, with this being beef back, there's not that much meat on there, but as you can see, it's scrunched up. The ribs came back, and you can just see that there's going to be a decent amount of meat in between here that you're going to be able to munch on. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a rib pulled out of here, if that's going to work out just like it would on like a baby back, and try this out. All right, so one thing that I'm definitely confident in is that this is not going to disappoint me as bad as the Bears probably will today, but let's just see. All right, so these bones definitely don't pull out, I guess, as easily as you would a baby back, and I don't know if that's just because of maybe how I cooked it. Maybe these are going to be horrible. I don't know. But instead, what I'm going to do, I guess, since these aren't pulling out very well, is just go ahead and slice in. And that is some nice meat there. Look at that. That's going to be really delicious. So I guess what you could do is just kind of cut it in half there. Watch for bone. Yeah, look at that. incredible looking meat. So, I mean, you can see the nice separation with that skin down here, and it's going to probably be delicious with how it was seasoned. But I'm going to go ahead and just take a bit off of the bone here and try that out. Wow, that's amazing. This bark is out of this world. I mean, every piece is like a juicy, burnt end. Look at how nice and red that got from the smoke ring there. One thing I will say is just kind of getting a bite out of the membrane here. It's not the most pleasant thing, at least not for me. That's for sure. So, I mean, honestly, while this is delicious, I'd find it hard to even serve this just kind of as like a appetizer. I mean, unless you've got some hardcore meat carnivore type of people, this probably isn't going to appeal to the masses, but this is pretty delicious. Just trying to peel some of that skin back. Either way, I probably wouldn't have done anything different by removing that membrane ahead of time, but it's not something that I'm going to find appetizing in order to eat. So yeah, I mean, this is delicious, but again, unless you've got some hardcore meat carnivore people, I don't know that I'd recommend serving this at like a party, but let me tell you, it is delicious. I'm going to pick the rest of that off, but that bone is nice and clean here. Can't complain about that. And the bits of meat that are on there are really good. All right, all. So just for some final thoughts, again, this has a lot of potential. It's got really good, delicious meat on it. The bark is great. I mean, you can't complain about how good this is. However, like I said, at the end of the day, I don't think that this is going to be at least something that my crowd is going to like to eat on a, just a, hey, come on over, let's watch some football. I'm going to be throwing something on the smoker. I don't think that this is one of those dishes. Although it is good, it's going to take a certain type of person in order to like something like this. So it may be cost effective. It might look great. It might taste great, but there's just a lot of things in there that I think aren't going to appeal to the masses. So it's not something that I would definitely recommend for you to make as a party type of an item. If you've got some friends that like this kind of stuff, by all means, it's going to be great. It's going to be a hit. But to appeal to a lot of different people, I just don't think that this is the dish. So, and honestly, even for me, I don't think that this is something that I'm going to go out of my way to make ever again. I would rather just make some DINO ribs because those DINO ribs have a whole lot more meat on there. You can cut them up, get chunks in there so that people can take a whole chunk of just meat as opposed to having to just kind of pick things off of here. Even though there is a decent amount, it's still just not something that I think that most people are going to like. All right, guys, so that is a video. This is going to get eaten at my house. That's not a problem at all. That's for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The game is on right now, so I'm missing a little bit of it. We got to go ahead and start watching that. But beyond that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Have you ever made these, and what do you think of these? Do you ever make these on the regular? Is this something that you like to make as opposed to like baby back ribs? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.